You want to know how a regular Sunday morning in suburbia turned into a scene straight out of a movie? Here's how it went down. 1 second, I'm sipping coffee. The next, my neighbor's outside, red-faced, yelling across the yard, "You will join our HOA whether you like it or not." Like, really? The world's on fire, and this is the battle you pick? What happened next, though, that was something none of us will ever forget, you know what I mean? Because when Linda, that's my neighbor, called the police on my wife to force her into a homeowners association, what she didn't expect was for those cops to show up, spot Helen on our porch, and suddenly snap to attention, full-on salute and everything, making Linda's jaw practically hit the grass. The reversal was epic, I am telling you. Chills down my spine, even now, just thinking about it. So let me back up a sec, because the crazy part didn't start there. 6 months back, my wife Helen had just retired from 20 years in the military, and, honestly, she handled that transition better than anyone I'd ever seen. Still, there were moments, little things like she'd always wake up before sunrise, move through her workout with that quiet discipline, then stand in the yard tending her tomato plants, looking for all the world like someone just enjoying a simple life. But you could tell beneath all that calm, there was a history, a weight that she just didn't share, not even with me. We bought this house right on the edge of Maple Street, just outside the official HOA border, thanks to some grandfather clause from back in the 80s. Never thought much of it, until it almost cost us everything. But at the time, we just wanted a yard where Helen could garden, and I could, well, not deal with HOA newsletters and neighborhood drama. Or so I thought. Now, enter Linda Walsh, 53, recently divorced, and apparently decided that running the HOA was her ticket to feeling important again. She introduced herself with a smile that didn't reach her eyes and, from day one, started poking into our business. I figured whatever, every neighborhood's got a Linda. But Linda's the type who thinks every street is her kingdom, and, man, did she get fixated on us. Maybe it was because Helen didn't come to the monthly potluck, or because we didn't immediately slap an American flag on our porch. I don't know. All I know is she started digging, asking questions, making suggestions, dropping off newsletters with certain sections highlighted. The first real shot fired was the day Linda left a 47-page HOA membership packet on our doorstep, with a demand for $2,000 and a warning that we'd be held accountable for noncompliance. Helen read every word, took notes like it was a military briefing, then calmly told Linda, "Our deed is outside your boundaries. We're not joining." I swear, the look on Linda's face was pure disbelief, like nobody'd ever told her no before. But Linda, she wasn't backing off. Next came the emails, official looking, full of threats and codes, but Helen was ready every time. She'd reply with city surveys, property records, actual law. It was like watching a chess master toying with someone who only knows how to play checkers. And still, Linda doubled down. She started showing up with a tape measure, accusing Helen's garden of trespassing into HOA territory, waving bogus violation fees around, trying to look all official. Helen just smiled, handed her the paperwork, and waited. That comment made Linda even madder. Then came the twist. Linda organized a community standards meeting and made it all about us, trying to paint Helen as the problem. But Helen, cool as ever, dismantled every accusation, one by one, with facts and receipts, in front of a room full of neighbors who suddenly saw through Linda's game. It should have ended there, but people like Linda, well, they don't take public defeat well. Behind the scenes, Helen was documenting everything, building a file, even reaching out to neighbors who'd been bullied before. She was gathering a coalition, but quietly, like someone who's seen this kind of fight before. I asked her, "How are you so calm?" She just smiled and said, "The best victories come when the enemy beats themselves." That line stuck with me. Linda, though, she was spiraling. The final straw was when she decided to weaponize the cops. Claimed Helen was a dangerous veteran, isolated, unstable, potentially armed, refusing to join the community. She used all the buzzwords to get the police to take it seriously. That morning, I saw her through the window, phone in hand, rehearsing her big moment, convinced this was the day she'd win. But what Linda didn't know was Helen had already called her dad the police chief. Yeah, let that sink in. The cops rolled up, body cameras and all, expecting who knows what. Helen greeted them, calm as always, while Linda strutted over, waving papers and rattling off accusations, painting herself as the hero saving the neighborhood from the unstable outsider. But the moment Sergeant Brooks, the senior officer, took Helen's ID, everything changed. His face went pale, he read her record, and suddenly he's standing at attention, saluting. Officer Riley followed. Sergeant Major, Medal of Honor recipient, thank you for your service, ma'am. You should have seen Linda's face. It was like her entire sense of power just vaporized. Neighbors came out, phones recording, whispers starting by that afternoon, everyone knew. The police chief himself arrived, hugged Helen, called her sweetheart in front of the whole block. Linda was done, her supporters disappeared, and every bit of dirt she'd thrown came back to bury her instead. The cops took her statement, but it was obvious to everyone she wasn't the authority anymore. She was the cautionary tale. Justice moved fast. Linda was charged false reporting, harassment, all of it. She lost her HOA seat, her job, even her friends. Meanwhile, Helen became the face of veteran advocacy around here, spoke at events, changed the way our neighborhood treats returning service members. We reformed the HOA, started real community projects, and the mood of the entire street shifted from fear to celebration. But, here's the real twist. A year later, I ran into Linda while picking up groceries. She looked changed, humbled. She'd been doing her court-ordered community service at the VA, working with wounded vets, and it had gotten through to her. She apologized to actually apologize for everything. I told her, everyone makes mistakes. It's what you do after that counts. Our story went viral, cops saluting a war hero, a bully brought down not by revenge, but by the truth and some good old-fashioned courage. Helen never gloated, never bragged. She just kept serving, kept helping, and showed all of us what real strength looks like. Linda, she started giving back too quietly, with no fanfare, trying to make amends in her own way. Even the worst of us can change, So, what do you think? Would you have handled it the way Helen did? Or would you have gone for revenge? Comment below. Let us know where you're watching from. Here's what I learned. Real power comes from service, not fear. Remember that next time someone tries to push you around, because you never know who's quietly earned a salute. And that's how a neighbor war turned into the lesson of a lifetime.